What do you think, Laylee? Should we do another part of Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair?
I don't know, I don't really feel like it. Won't you ask me later, Yuki?
Did you just call me Yuki?
Hello, everybody. I don't know why I said that. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Well, we should do that. But yeah, welcome back to the Yooka-Laylee in the Impossible Lair.
Sweet! Off and off on an adventure, are you?
Oh god, the damn thing can speak.
Don't let this crate get in your way.
I'm not gonna lie, before James beat me to the cut, I was actually gonna do something different. Like, let's see if he talks again.
Go ahead.
Wait. Hold on, I love you.
So, like, they're the fairies.
So, don't mind the fact we were just literally talking to one of Kazooie's relatives.
I wish you would have just splat him, just boom, as you jumped. Anyway.
That would have been funny, but yeah, no. They weren't being remotely subtle with that one random NPC there, because that's essentially Kazooie in Yooka-Laylee's world.
It did look like that.
Rico Scar.
Oh yeah, and also as we're showing off here, the cool thing about the hub world in this game is that it's practically a level in and of itself.
Oh yeah, no, like this whole thing, hello.
Ooh.
But anyway, don't mind this random signpost here. He's just one of those helpful little hint signs that'll let you find one of this game's special collectibles for a price. Anyway, yeah, the whole overworld, I think they've outright said it in like interviews. Like, this is essentially like a very Zelda-esque overworld with things to do and stuff to see, which honestly, which in itself feels like its own game.
I can see that, honestly, and there are enemies and stuff, and like, careful.
Don't mind what we're swimming in.
I don't want to imagine.
Did you know?
What?
My buddies and I are hiding around with tips and clues to share.
I genuinely would have loved it. Oh, hang on.
They won't all be as generous as me, though. Some might charge quills.
I genuinely would have loved, James, if when you walked up to him, he said, "Did you know? That wasn't water." And that's all he says. It's just left up to you to, like, interpret.
One thing I do find kind of funny about those signpost characters is that I think there were only one character in the first game, and he was a total fucking asshole. And speaking of assholes, hey you.
Hi, friend.
Oh, hello.
Oh no, it's Trouser Snake. I mean,
God.
Trouser.
Damn it.
Yes.
Keep an eye on your wallet, Yuka.
What?
Oi, Trouser! Your stupid gate is blocking our progress!
And I realize this whole time we haven't been talking British, but I don't care.
Wait until you hear what he calls them.
Oh, you mean this? Oh, it's just a double damn it.
Yep.
A paywall.
Yep, my latest business idea is sure to make me millions.
But we need to pass to find more battalion troops and defeat Capital B.
You know, is he his boss? Is he a bad guy to him, or?
He's moneybags.
He's an entrepreneur himself, basically.
Oh, why didn't you say?
And I always love his talking voice.
Of course, for the royal customers like you, I'll open the paywall for only a fraction of the twit cost.
Okay,
Daphne.
don't blow your load there. So yeah, now we see the point of the twit coins.
Yeah,
You know we're the only customers, Trouser.
If you're running short, I hear there are lots of twit coins hidden in those scattered chapters.
Jesus. Hi, I swear I thought I felt a little spittle on my forehead, and we're in an audio-only call. I swear, it was like one of those weird, like, sensory, like, illusions kind of things. I swear I almost felt it, like ASMR, jeez.
I was about to say, God forbid Trouser does his own ASMR channel for the hip price of this many twit coins.
It was like, you know those things where, like, you visibly flinch and, like, you blink your eyes because it was, anyway.
Another satisfied customer for Trouser.
Okay. Thank you, Trouser. To be gone.
I mean, when you stop and think about it, it would be essentially the same as, like, a random snake literally slithered right into your ear.
Oh, not her, too.
I forgot about her. Hey, kids, it's me, Vendy.
I thought you were a fridge.
It's you.
Nice.
Even they know. Oh, like, seriously, look at this thing.
I just know.
To save your backsides with my game-changing tonics.
I actually just now noticed,
Tonics
yeah.
are back.
I would say that, I noticed that, it only took me now to realize that, yeah, the tonics do look like the Platonic logo, because, ha.
yeah, that was pretty much the whole point of the tonics. So yeah, basically the whole tonic system is back and with a vengeance. Because I mean, they still pretty much do the same thing as the first game. They're essentially game changers of a sort, though there are a lot more of them to find. And well, I mean, this time you can still find. This time you can find them all across the overworld. Though just because you get them doesn't mean you automatically reap the benefits. Because this pretty much leads into one of the big major points behind collecting quills. Because you need them in order to spend them on these tonics to actually use them.
And I think, like, can you only use one at a time like the first game?
You can use up to 3 at a time, as you can see by those empty slots.
Oh.
Ah, Laylee Panics lasts a 6 round longer. Oh, but I see. So it's the idea is that if it's a tonic that helps us, it reduces how many quills we get in the level. But if it's one that adds maybe a little bit of extra challenge, it increases the amount of quills we can get in a level.
And then there's of course all the those cute little filters that don't really do much to your overall quill total, but it does make the game look a little more interesting in one way or another.
Like, I would love if one of the static tonics was just basically turning them into like a realistic chameleon and a realistic bat.
I would love if you were just crawling around that.
Well,
I know there are.
I do remember one particular tonic does change Yooka's proportions to be more, for lack of a better word, human.
I saw that. I know I know, of course, because definitely is needed. I know there's a tonic that gives you a quill magnet of sort,
which surprisingly doesn't actually subtract to your quill total at all.
Which is great.
Oh yeah, like, I mean, granted you get it pretty late in the adventure, but even then, it's still pretty handy.
Thank you, Kazooie.
Also, just gonna say right now, I do recall there being one. Oh yeah, and tonics will be hiding all over the place, whether it be inside the architecture itself, just laying there, and well, again, that's pretty much why these signs are there, because they're your hints. Also, notice how he was happily bouncing up and down. That means you solved his riddle. Or solved his method of getting the tonics.
And also, I was going to say, Hype, technically it's not a Yugi head, it's huge. It's not just huge, it's huge.
Oh, okay, it's another way of saying huge, okay.
It's a weird, exaggerated way of saying it, but yeah.
It works. It's Yooka, but, I will, oh, by the way, words to the wise, at one point in the game, I won't say when, you can actually, get a tonic that gives you 4 tonic slots. Do not fucking bother with that one, because it's a ripoff.
Oh.
Well, yeah, it's a waste. You basically lose quills, and you get the same amount of slots as you normally would have.
Exactly. It's a pure scam.
Yeah, like Lily, just pause and think about it for a second. What are you actually getting?
Exactly. It's stupid, but I mean, granted, I understand it's for the sake of a joke.
Right.
Is it really though?
I mean, yeah. I mean, like for the people who don't know any better, it's like, wait a minute. What are we doing?
Oh yeah, remember the berry system from the original game? They're back here too, and you don't have to pay Trouser in order to actually learn how to use them, but they do run under a timer. And if you don't, well, I think it's pretty easy to see. Oh yeah, more checkpoints.
Oh, checkpoints. Okay, I get it. I get what they did there to make. Anyway,
again, this game has that shit in droves.
Well, I mean, the rare sense. I do like the rare sense of humor.
Droves, the pages are back too.
Hey.
It's the chameleon in the back. How exciting!
Hey, what's that thing up there?
My friend and I have managed to...
Oh, it's what you know who that is again.
Straps and ties the realm within us. We can help you on your quest if you fend them off.
Oh, it's a bonus game.
Pretty much. A bonus game that will alter the overworld once you clear them.
Do you want to get inside me?
Sure. Let's do this.
Jesus. Alright, let's see what a bonus stage is like. Whoa.
They're basically just enemy gauntlets, but they are... A lot of them are fairly, well, clever in how they make you, take out the enemies. At least half the time.
Leave no witnesses.
I was about to say, so I guess the boxes also count as enemies?
No, they don't. They're just there as a stepping stone. And by the way, if you want the most depressing image ever, try to fail a challenge.
Oh, all the pages are so sad.
And they're torn.
Aww.
Fantastic job, make the first chapter. I'll cut in the flyer squad and we'll alter the overworld.
Oh yeah, whenever you do these, they don't just give you a reward. They actually, like, help reveal new secrets.
Party power!
Complete with their own theme song. Oh! What was it?
Whoa!
Oh,
Yeah, it's
School!
Miss,
What happened?
yeah, I think it's Miss Polymorph or whatever her name is.
I think her name was Dr. Puzz. She was basically your means of animal transformation, or excuse me, just transformations in general in the first game. Here, she's just, well, she just helps you out with one random gimmick for this one level. That's really it.
gotcha.
I mean, that is something I will say. Most, if not all, the NPCs are basically just relegated to a particular stage that you could alter with their mechanism or abilities or whatever it might be. It's like with Dr. Puzz here, she wants us to flick a switch that will turn on her little minion machine there. Or at least I assume it's a minion machine, because look what's inside there.
Actually,
Yeah.
I guess I do want to ask, since this is technically a sequel, but it seems like there are a lot of aspects that seem really like standalone. Do you oh, what am I trying to say? Can you be able to enjoy this without any knowledge of the first game?
I'd say you'd get about as much mileage out of this game as you probably would, say, playing Tropical Freeze or maybe to a lesser extent Banjo-Tooie. Like, it really depends on if you really want that extra little bit of context of their first encounter. Otherwise, you really don't need to, like, you don't really. I mean, I would say first-hand experience of the first Yooka-Laylee isn't necessary to enjoy this game.
Okay.
It helps,
So I'm not
but
quite
it's
sure
not.
if
It's
I
not.
would-
It helps, but it's not mandatory. That's all I'll say.
That's fair.
Fair.
I will say, for your comparison, I'm not quite sure if I would put Tropical Freeze, because I feel like compared to 2E, Tropical Freeze does feel a lot more standalone, because it's not like...
Actually, yeah,
you-
Tropical Freeze is completely self-contained from freaking.
And
turns.
suddenly we've skipped a couple levels.
Yeah, because honestly, with the exception of this one level, you can pretty much skip most, if not every single level in the game, if you want to just worry about all the overworld stuff.
So why are we doing this one in particular?
Because we've effectively hit a roadblock, and we need to clear it somehow.
Let's see.
The disco effect. Oh yeah, we should say a lot of these tonics are a butt ton
Ooh, Yooka
of
64.
filters.
It should also be said that when the game first came out, there was actually a pre-order deal where you can actually get a couple of them right off the bat.
Oh my
Like
god.
this disco filter.
And as Caddy was talking about, how possibly annoying are these to try and play and beat with all these filters on?
I think it depends. Like, I would say the disco isn't the worst one in the world because you can at least still see a good bulk of the levels, geometry and everything. I would say stuff like, say, the freaking 8-bit filter, which basically makes the entire screen all pixely and 30 frame, and runs at 30 frames. It does take some getting used to. I mean, granted, at the end of the day, it's all a bonus and nothing more, so I won't really knock the game for it.
True.
Yeah. Don't
Oh,
get
nice.
dumb.
It's just the developers having some fun.
Yeah. And they are.
And I do
original.
think, to give this game's credit, I think the way they handle tonics here is definitely a little more engaging than what we had in the first game.
Okay.
It really just does feel like, overall, this game just really feels like they pretty much addressed and fixed. Granted, it's kind of a different style of platformer, but for the most part, it really does feel like that this game does kind of like up and fix a lot of the complaints people have with the first game in some regard.
I mean, it helps. I mean, yeah, like it helps too that we're working with a 2D perspective now, so they have they don't have to worry about filling up their entire playfield or whatever with stuff. Like, they can just keep it to this one camera, like this one, camera setting, and like you can just pretty much see every little detail that probably wouldn't be quite as detailed in the original game just because of how expansive it all was. Lest we forget, lest we forget the flatlands that were the casino area.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am kind of glad that they did get a chance to have their own, I guess for lack of a better way to phrase it, redemption game, because even though opinions of it are kind of mixed, I still do have like a bit of a fondness of what Yooka-Laylee tried to do and its characters and whatnot, and I'm glad it was given a second chance and that people are actually enjoying it, because I honestly would love to see these guys, continue to thrive.
Right. I mean, honestly, like my major problems with the game weren't even with the duo themselves. So I appreciate the fact they're giving the second chance, and well, as you said, they actually succeeded where they failed the first time. Now, it does honestly make me wonder what it'd be like if they ever were to try again with the Banjo-Kazooie format. Like, maybe they'll actually try not to rely too hard on the conventions of the first game. Or, you know, I know one particular person's brought it up, but how about a Yooka-Laylee racing game?
I was about to say, no, if we're gonna go whole hog on this, like with the first game being Banjo-Kazooie and the second game being Donkey Kong Country, we all know the third game has to be GoldenEye.
I mean, I was just about to say like that, or something even based on Perfect Dark.
I mean, yeah, they're both essentially the same game, just one of them's actually an original property. But,
Right.
I mean, that'd be cool and all. At the same time, though, like, I feel like you can only go so far with that in a cartoony setting, because that gives you less of a chance to appreciate the characters you're actually playing as.
I mean, you say that, but like I'm almost like, part of me would like if they made like a cartoony, like, okay, not saying to be quite like that, but imagine a first-person shooter. Okay, be telling you not just yet, but imagine a Oh, I see that box up there. I was gonna say, imagine a kind of first-person shooter with like a cartoony feel, like Cuphead almost. Not all hand, Dave. Not all like hand drawn, but like, you know, like kind of setting that with that sort of cartoony, cheeky humor or whatever.
I mean,
I can understand that.
I will admit, I can't think of too many games that actually tried to do that.
It does kind of remind me of this game concept I've been trying to flesh out for a while. I kind of lost touch with it, but it was kind of like my take on like a zombie apocalypse, only it was like a ghost apocalypse, and it had like a more somewhat cartoonish art style to it, as opposed to like most, you know, gritty, realistic ones.
Yeah.
Seems what a bit of a dead end, Laylee.
Well. Oh.
Here's Queen Phoebe to save the day. Again.
Yooka-Laylee.
Yes?
How's your adventure going?
Better than the last game, thanks.
Damn.
Devil damn it.
They beat us to it.
Hey, Lee. It's going well, although it looks like we've hit a dead end.
Ah, good thing I came over to check in on you saps.
Call it my bee-ish intuition.
I have an idea.
She just so happened to have a waterberry on her.
Try throwing this frostberry at the water the chapter's landed in. Really? And then I assume the fireberry would be to reset it afterwards.
Yep.
Likely.
Chapter will freeze and should affect the world within. Yep, so that's cool. We get to start seeing how overworld stuff can affect the levels, and again, like we said, basically give you brand new forms of each level.
And pretty much the main reason, one of the major reasons why this look at is as long as it is. Because, again, like, there is quite a bit to this game. And so much so I couldn't really fit it all into one video.
Which is fair, and aha, here we go. And I think that's fine. I think they did quite a lot with... What I'm trying to say, it kind of has that compact feeling of they really did, like, make the most of what they had.
Yeah, though again, I do still hold the sentiment that while I do appreciate it, I do think they didn't need as many levels as they ended up putting in, because 40 levels is quite a lot for a game like this. Especially when you also take into account how expansive the overworld is. Like with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, all the overworld really was just hopping from level to level, a la Mario World, and that really takes no time at all. Whereas with this, it's kind of an investment in and of itself.
Yay.
Let's say
Sorry, I was yelling at the
Maybe
64
not.
Huge.
Just,
Come on.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, actually, it's funny because with the oh, look at that.
Wow.
Aww.
You can just look at that in the style. Actually, it's funny because I think they actually. The funny thing is, when they actually announced the Yooka-64 skin for this game, immediately after I think immediately after this game came out, they actually added this skin into the Yooka-Laylee game itself.
And it was pretty nice.
I'm kind of surprised it wasn't in the Yooka-Laylee game to begin with.
Yeah, me too. Especially after that N64 like tie-in, like, you know, like how they like they advertise like a USB drive That looked like
Oh,
an
I
N64
almost forgot about that. That was
cartridge.
so neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, it was at that time you could sort of, where people were just out. It's at that point in time where, like, it seemed like Playtonic were sort of just, I don't know how to put it, like, they were sort of
Milking the nostalgia a bit too hard.
I would not rather say milking it. They were just, a lot of the ideas that they were dishing out to Yooka-Laylee after the game was released, just, it all felt half-baked.
Yeah.
Like, the filter, all it really did was just make the game look all pixely and with less shaders. I mean, it kind of just looked ugly.
Well, that's the thing. It didn't fix the thing that people had a problem with.
Right. I mean, especially, and it didn't help either. Like, around the same time, I think that's when A Hat in Time had its Seal the Deal expansion, which also included that one 64-bit skin for Hat
Which also
Kid.
looked adorable.
Oh, yeah, it did. But, like, god damn it, like, is it not a bitch to get?
Yep. Oh, you gotta play a ton of the hard deal mode, which I'm gonna say right now.
Oh,
when we get around to playing that game, I am not gonna be showing off a lot of those deals because some of them are just really hard.
Right, that's just its own little bonus thing.
Honestly, I feel like, because, you know, just to get people a bit of a perspective, we kind of had the playthrough of it recorded back when it was still, for lack of a better word, in its prime. But now that the Switch version's out, it kind of makes me feel like, should we try to do anything new with the footage? Or...
I'm gonna say right now, Switch port, from what I heard, was still a little buggy. Have they fixed it yet?
They've been trying what they can to fix it. Like, I've heard some things were fixed, like the frame rate issue wasn't quite as bad as it was when it first launched. But there are still cases where the game does look a little rough around the edges.
Okay.
And it's still part of my... I know it's not true in the slightest, I just think it's a funny joke to run with. It just kind of fuels the whole thing of Gears for Breakfast secretly hating the Switch.
Well, the funny thing is, Hype, because, I mean, at times it can feel like that, for sure, because of how long it took them just to actually get the okay to do it in the first place. But the real reason, from what I understand, is because the version of Unreal Engine that they used for Hat in Time doesn't really work that well on the Switch. So there had to be a lot of tinkering and all that just to make it work in the first place.
I gotcha.
Which really makes me wonder why they didn't just bother with an update, with a more updated version of the thing in the first place. Like, honestly, it's... You know what? The more I think about it, it's pretty much the exact same issue that Mighty Number 9 went through when that game was developed.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, to Yooka-Laylee's credit, at least they were actually using an engine that actually works pretty well on the Switch. I mean, honestly, like, I'm actually surprised how well this version, how well the Impossible Lair actually runs on the system. It's honestly about as good, it's about as good as, if not as good as the PC version.
Actually, that does make... I guess we can get that out of the way unless we didn't bring it up already. Like, we know it's on the Switch, we know it's on the PC. Are there any other consoles it's on?
Pretty much everything else.
Yeah, the usual. Here we go.
Does that mean it's also on the Stadia?
Stadia, and I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't remember hearing it being on Stadia. No. But,
we have
saved. Not that it matters. We saved Waspington!
And look at them on the left.
Or Waspington, my bad.
They're adorable.
Yeah, Yooka looks fine. Lately, I think maybe could have gone without the fangs.
It's a bat. It ugly.
Yeah, because now that I think about it, I don't think N64 models really went that route with like their mouth textures or whatever. Usually, they were literally just Muppets.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We did it.
Further than again Banjo or Donkey Kong 64.
Okay.
Everyone literally did look kind of like a really good, cool-looking Muppet.
Yeah, that was quite a change.
I had a feeling you get cold, you frickin'... I'm sure you could change each chapter.
Now that I think about it, a bee kingdom in the snow, wouldn't that be kind of a bad thing?
I've seen shit. I've seen shit you would never believe. So many orphans.
Who really could use some sleep.
So yeah, I'm fine. And look who showed up while you were inside, the lazy... Ah, oh, gosh, dang it.
Hello, folks.
Get out of here, Tom.
We don't like your kind around here, Tom.
Leave us alone. You never paid me back, none of it.
I feel like this is the kind of shit we should be saving for whenever we do Conquer.
Probably, but I'm just out of it. Keep
Watch
it up,
us
friend.
be
You're doing terrific.
like you say that joke. Watch us be uncharacteristically clean when we get to Conquer.
I would love to do
True,
that.
I mean, Conquer's gonna be serving up all the shit as it is, but yeah. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna leave that pagey to be as happy as it can possibly be, and yeah, we'll just show off whatever's left of the pause menu, and pretty much, yeah, what you've seen is what's to expect with Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair.
So would you recommend this to people?
Oh, absolutely. Again, my only real recommendation is that whatever sort of mindset you had previously with, like, say, the Donkey Kong Country Returns games, or maybe even the originals to some extent, just throw that out the window, because if you really expect this game to be about the same as that, you might be in for a slight disappointment. Or
enough.
maybe not so much a disappointment, but trying to get accustomed to this game is going to get rough.
I mean,
Yeah,
I can see that. It seems. Go ahead.
It's basically that story James likes to tell about transitioning from Hand Time to Mario Odyssey.
Kind of, yeah.
I think it's okay. Best I can put is, I guess, put it this way. It looks like one of those things where it's like, also achievements. It looks like one of those things where it's like, it almost is better to experience with nostalgia vision as opposed to having just gotten off of playing the most recent game.
Yeah, something like that.
Like in the sense of in the sense of if you play this with that memory of how fun Donkey Kong Country was, it'll almost be better than if you had just gone off of playing Tropical Freeze.
Pretty much, yeah. Again, I would just say a fresh mind would really help you out when playing this game, but so yeah, on that note, folks, that's it for our double beefer look at on Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair for the Nintendo Switch.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty much all we got to say on the matter. If you like what you saw, I'd, again, definitely recommend it. And say if they ever do make that racing game or Perfect Dark knockoff featuring these lovable characters, we'll probably give that a look-see too. But until then, till next time.
Get off my impossible lair! Not you!
Lock and load.